TikTok said that these titles were unputdownable, which now that I'm thinking about it is absolutely not a word. Okay, spoiler alert, some of these titles had me in the absolute best chokehold, while others had me seriously questioning my life's decisions. P.S. Why did none of you warn me about this one? I thought we were friends. Let's dive into all of these viral titles you see everywhere on social media and see if they are worth it. Well, hi there and hello. My name is Sarah. This is my Unhinged Bookworm channel. If you find yourself gravitating towards those titles that other people look at you weird for reading, then you are in the right spot. Let's vibe. Let's be together. Yes, it is true. I read 6 of the absolute most viral titles that you will find online right now. I'm aware this is only 4 of them, but 2 of them I passed on my physical copy to my sister so we could follow up together. Wow, we have a lot to dive into. So let's just get started with the first viral title, causing a lot of controversy. Honestly, a hot take. The Wedding People by Alison Esbach. She was beautiful. I just can't describe to you the way that this book made me feel. And I know that typically I'm like super petty, but I really do feel like this is a great coming of age, or not even coming of age, but life after something traumatic, like a timeline of building yourself back up after something terrible happens to you. I truly enjoyed the story. I love the way that it was written. It's causing a lot of controversy. People do not like the things that are happening throughout the book, but in my opinion, I feel like you don't like this book if you have never gone through the things that the female lead character and even the supporting characters have gone through. There are some notes and mention of self-harm, so particularly heavy in the beginning. So you do have to kind of gauge if that is something that you and your current era can read. Okay. I would never recommend reading a book when I know it can be triggering to some. So again, you will need to decide that for yourself. But I absolutely loved it. I could not put it down. My dad actually gave it to me for Christmas last year, like 2024's Christmas. So I doubt that he like read what it was about. He probably just picked it because it was about weddings. It just is a great book. And again, I understand the controversy surrounding it, but I particularly related to it because I have had some of the feelings that the female main character herself has had. And while mine never were as dark, I guess would be a good way to put it. They were never as dark as hers are in the beginning, particularly. I've never gone through that. I have found myself feeling ways that she feels throughout the book. And I felt like, honestly, I'm not even trying to be like silly. I felt like I was alone in feeling those ways until I read them in this book, which truly helped me because now I know it's not just me feeling this way. So there's definitely something to be said about that. I would recommend this to anyone. I absolutely do believe it is worth the hype as long as you are okay with reading about those thoughts of self-harm towards the beginning. Absolutely recommend. This was, if not my first, one of my first 5-star reads of the year. Do I believe that it deserved to go viral on TikTok and Bookstagram, etc.? 100% yes. Next, we have First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. I've actually talked about this in a couple of videos. This was definitely having a moment, especially when it went through and was like Reese's book club pick for whatever month it was. It absolutely had a moment, and I definitely agree with that moment. There are just some really nice plot twists. This is a great thriller if you like thrillers, but you don't like the gut-wrenching or like bone-chilling kind. There are definitely some moments in here that I wasn't expecting. I don't want to go through like a bunch of thrillers, but if you want like a more detailed with spoilers, like type of description of the book, then you can check out this video here that I posted about my April TBR. Because I definitely talked about it in more detail then because I read it in April, obviously. I know that they also just came out with a Target exclusive version. I'm not the type to collect different editions. Like I have 15 books sitting off camera, like just right here, and 7 more over on this side. Like things are unhinged over here. Okay. I did like this one a lot and would recommend it. Do I think that it's worth all of the viral hype that it's getting online? I think for the most part, it's not earth shattering, but it is a really good, and there were several things that I wasn't expecting. Again, check out that more in detail video if you want to hear more about it. Okay, one that I don't have a physical copy of, but I do feel needs to be addressed is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I didn't dislike it, but I can tell you that it just wasn't for me. I have a list where I track like all of the books that I've read for the year and their ratings. So obviously I can keep track of them. And I rated this book back when I read it in February a 3.5 stars. I think that may have been slightly generous. I've never read other Alice Feeney books. I have Rock, Paper, Scissors. I just haven't read it yet. So I don't know if this is like a typical plot line for her. Though my sister has read several and says that her plot lines are typical about like a writer's life or lifestyle or like happenings, right? One of those sorts of things. But I can't speak to that because I've only read this one. While I do subscribe to Girl Power, I found this weird island of girls only or women only and children to be a little unsettling. I don't think there was anything inherently wrong with the storyline. It just wasn't for me. And that's why we love reading, because it is subjective and is going to vary from person to person. But this was not a title that I would read again. And I don't think that it is worth the viral hype that it's getting. There's definitely some mystery to it. And then there are some moments where you're like, okay, are we hallucinating? Are we not? There are definitely some great aspects to it. It just wasn't exactly for me. And I think we'll just leave it there. I don't think that it is worth the viral hype that it's getting, but I am excited to try a different Alice Feeney title in the future. Next up, we have Society of Lies by Lauren Ling Brown. I also read this one in April, so there's more detailed information with possibly some spoilers in my April reading recap video. But just to quickly summarize, this one's probably the least viral of all of the titles, and I personally feel like it should be the most viral of all of these titles, except for one, which we'll get to in just a moment, like Trust. Okay. First of all, the cover, absolute banger. I was instantly drawn in. It just has so many really great elements. Not only do I really like the dark academia theme, as we've discussed ad nauseum, I'm a teacher, so I do tend to gravitate towards those types of tropes. Okay. I loved the storyline. The storytelling of it was also amazing. When I was reading this book, I had my husband and son were trying to tell me something. I was like sitting on the couch reading. My husband and son were trying to tell me something, and I was apparently totally ignoring them. And they were like, hello, hello. And it was while I was reading this. So I don't know how long they were trying to talk to me, but I was totally zoned in my own little world over here. I still think about this book very, very often. I still have questions. I just absolutely loved it, and I cannot recommend it enough. I know, again, this is the least viral of all of the titles, but you should absolutely read this book. Next, we have Credence by Penelope Douglas. I have read several of her books and continue to read them. I do enjoy a little spicy moment. My husband has never cracked a page, but also enjoys a little spicy moment by Penelope Douglas. So I can say that it went viral for a reason. And that reason is a valid one, if I'm being honest with you. Criticism that it gets online for the plot is valid, but if you remove that kind of taboo subject, right? If you put that that they're kind of related, but not by blood. So if you put that out of your mind, then I did really like it. But I think that's what a lot of people get hung up on, because they are technically related, but also not. So if you haven't read it, a very high level description of it is a young woman is sent to live with a estranged family in the mountains after her parents pass away unexpectedly. And so this is family that she never knew because the dad and his brother were estranged. So she goes to live with the brother and his kids, but they were not blood related. They were step, right? So there is no actual blood relation. And I think that people get stuck on that because it is a little, I mean, it's still taboo. I get it. Like it still is. It gets extremely spicy. And I can also see how if you're thinking about it from the perspective that they are related, I can see how that is a little bit unsettling. But if you consider it like as they're not related, then I think that you would really like it. I also do think it's weird that she's just kind of bouncing around from one room to another. Not my vibe, but you know, to each their own. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, again, girl power. Like, I'm not gonna knock her for that. But I just wasn't expecting several things that happened, if I'm being honest, like going under and hiding under a car cover. That was kind of like one of the weirdest moments to me. I did think it had a really nice ending though. I did like the way that it ended and how she really changed the lives of the men that she was staying with. And they also changed her life as well. I think it is worth the hype. Yes, I do. If you enjoy those kinds of stories and can remove that like fake relation to each other, right? And do I think that you should read it? Absolutely. Why not? Finally, we have The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. Literally, I know that I'm the last person on earth to read this, but absolutely wow. This is 100% a 5-star for me. I was shocked, okay? I was shocked. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'm going to put it in my May TBR, but the twist in this book had me like staring at the wall. I still think about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, what on earth is happening here? I was super, super shocked. No spoilers here, but there will be spoilers when I talk about it in my May recap. So you'll have to subscribe to make sure you don't miss it. But I just can't. Like, it just, and then like the mother-in-law at the end, like what on earth are we doing here? Like, this is wild. This is absolutely wild. I did go ahead and get the second book in the series. My kids got me this one for Mother's Day. I have 3 kids and they each got me a book for Mother's Day, and one of them got me this one. So I read this one first. Yes, 100% worth the hype. Absolutely can't wait to see how they adapt it onto the big screen. I literally could not believe. I was really avoiding reading this because I didn't think that it was going to live it up. Like, I didn't think it was going to live up to the hype, but it 100% did. And it surpassed all of my expectations. Like, the highest, like what's above a chef's kiss? I don't know, but whatever's above a chef's kiss, that's what this book right here deserves. Beautiful, wonderfully written, shocking, edge of my seat. I finished it so fast because I could not stop thinking about it and what was going to happen next. So definitely check it out. It is 100% worth the read.